I die tomorrow. I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
It's Tuesday night. Welcome back.
What is up?
How is everybody doing? Oh, so just a quick announcement. We are not live on Facebook tonight. So sorry, everybody on Facebook, because Facebook does not want to connect for some reason. So thank you, Facebook. You and your meta shit. Anyway, it is Nerds at Around Tuesday nights. Your boy Sebastian.
It's your boy Law.
Anyway, Tone from across the hall.
And what do we have with us tonight?
Special guest.
I'm not that special.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You stop it. You stop it, you handsome son of a bitch.
You lie.
We've only been talking about the Medusa's Cascade every episode, so here we go. It's the TM for the Medusa's Cascade, the beard himself.
Yes.
Abby!
Yeah.
The bane of all of your existences.
I mean, a little bit. For a while, Turk and you shared that spot.
Well, I feel like that's just it. That's my job. I have to play all of the villains. I have to play all of the bad people in your past. That's my job.
So that's why we are going to call it collateral trauma at one point. But anyway,
yeah, accurate.
That's on brand. That's on brand.
So meanwhile, some announcements. Let us go with some announcements. So next week we're gonna talk about the Peacemaker season finale, as well as catch up on some Attack on Titan, because there's some fuck shit happening in Attack on Titan. Tona's definitely read the book, so Tona's already prepared for the fuck shit. I wasn't prepared for the fuck shit, but Jesus Christ, is some fuck shit. That's a lot of fucks. Second is that make sure you're catching the Medusa's Cascade every Saturday, released on mbeyond.com, or you can catch it on your favorite podcast app like Spotify. Listen to it, follow it. I mean, go back and listen to all your, I mean, it's like, what, 60?
Subscribe to it. Subscribe.
There we go. You heard it from the man himself. Subscribe.
5 episodes. I'm doing the intro recap this week, and we have so much fuck shit happening. Jesus Christ. So much shit happening,
and you're only level 10,
right? Yeah, that makes it so much worse.
So for today's topic, guys, what are we talking about today? Oh, before we do that, in case anybody hasn't watched it. Oh nope, wrong one.
So actually, you know what? I'm gonna relinquish my spoiler warning and give it to Law, as like you are a critter and you can give a much more proper spoiler warning than I could for.
All right, I'm going to saves. So we are doing The Legend of Vox Machina season 1. If you guys have not watched it, this is your warning. I
put you in the spot, man. I know.
I'm going to spoil the shit out of it, so you might as well, if you don't want to get spoiled, leave.
You know what, Tommy? I'm swapping. Drop a major spoiler of season 1.
Oh, I mean, what that Delilah, the Briarwoods are evil.
Briarwoods are evil. They killed Percy's family.
Oh yeah, he's possessed by a demon.
He got possessed by a demon.
That is what helped him learn, make the gun that he uses, the pepper box, and what puts the name on the barrel. And we can keep going.
Dude, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild.
It's actually a really wild show. I mean, based off what Critical Role. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, but I let Tommy and Law lead in with the questions of this, because it's my first time seeing anything Vox Machina or Critical Role. So, and I'm like, oh, I love the animation style, and yes, Scanlan is the fucking man.
So for you guys who are new to you and Tone, who are your favorite characters that you guys saw?
I like Scanlan, but I also like I like Pike.
Yes. Yeah, Pike was awesome.
Pike is so badass.
I like Pike. Grog is fun, but I think I may like him later down the line when he gets his belt of Dwarven and he goes through the whole stuff with the different swords and all the other stuff. But I think,
and if they do the Vasselheim arc, then you'll get some stuff with was it Cord? The storm.
You're thinking Earthbreaker Grun?
No, but that's a temple to Cord.
Oh, right, yeah.
which is like the Storm Lord, I
Mhm.
believe, is the Storm Lord. So
Yep.
it's, if you've seen campaign 2, which I know you guys haven't, but one of the characters, a barbarian, Yasha, is a zealot for the Storm Lord.
Mhm.
So it's a
There
cool
was
little
actually a lot of Easter eggs for the entirety of like Critical Role universe.
Oh fuck yeah.
Uh,
Sebastian, who was your favorite character?
And it was Scanlan Pike. I really fucking again those characters spoke more to me. And then there was what's her face? The Vex. I think it was
Vex.
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 She. That's not the brother, right? That was the sister's name.
Vex is yeah.
Vexalia
Vex.
and Vaxildan.
Yep.
Vex, and I gotta say, I really was digging Percy, not from the beginning, but later, like halfway through. I was like, okay, I could fuck with Percy. I do like this character. He's really it, and even though it's like we're following this whole arc for Percy in this beginning right there, it was like, oh, this I could fuck with Percy. Percy has that real huge development character, revenge story, and all that, and I really liked his fucking shooter too. I was like, this dude is fucking badass.
So fun fact, Mercer made the homebrew class for the gunslinger, and Taliesin was like, bet, let's do it. I'm gonna try it out. So he made that class, and Taliesin basically like did the entire campaign, and they worked on it throughout the entirety. Same with season 2. Season 2, he did the Blood Hunter in the original form, which is apparently getting reworked as we're looking at some of the stuff with spoiler. Why can't I think of his name?
Mordecai's Multiverse of Monsters.
That too, but what is Travis's character? My favorite guy.
Chetney.
Chetney. I was saying everything else in my head but Chetney.
Why
But
is it getting reworked? He took a different path than
apparently Matt changed a little bit, but nothing too crazy. We'll talk about it later. Let's get back into the show.
Yeah, so I mean, let me ask you guys because you both listen to the podcast and then you've gotten to see the show. So, what was some major differences that you saw? That they changed for the show itself to kind of like make it more palatable for audience who was first getting to see Critical Role and everything. What are some of the major differences you saw?
the vibes were the same, but they took 14 4-hour sessions and jammed them into 10 25-minute episodes. So it was main storyline. Like all of the periphery stuff was pushed to the side. There was a lot more stuff that went down during certain events. So like the whole thing with Scanlan going to burn that dude's house down, and then that whole conflict with the Goliath, with the other one. I can't remember the name of the character, the second dude that Percy shoots, like in the house. Like there was a lot more that happened in between, like them getting to Whitestone and them doing that.
Like
But
Scanlan getting a whole ass painting done for himself is one of the funniest parts that never got dropped in the animated series.
No, of course. I mean, like it wasn't really relevant to the story.
Right.
This was like main plot line, but the vibes were the same, and I saw a lot of stuff. Like they took actual reactions from cast members when they were like on stream, like when Scanlan, I think it's Scanlan and Vax are doing like the middle finger back and forth, like they did that in game at the table. The reaction when Vax tells Keyleth that he loves her, that was her exact reaction, except they took out the kiss, which I'm assuming is for some sort of purpose later on. But like that literally happened that way, and that was literally her reaction in game. Was like, we waited until now to say this. I mean, like, but they did. A large part of it was very much that, but they also move things around a little bit, but it works.
I think they also, starting with the Briarwood arc was probably the best way to start, because there's a lot that happened before the stream that we only know through the origin books and through like a lot of like conversational pieces, and like they did a video that kind of like did a recap for that. Then the first 20 plus episodes are kind of rough, like with audio, with
Really,
player, a certain player.
It was Orion. Like you
Orion.
Can say I don't hate him. It's like that's what his name was. Orion. He was just they didn't mesh well together playing, and he was going through personal shit. So like he just left the campaign, and things got a lot smoother after that.
Yeah, and in an interview, Sam was saying like Vox Machina was those guys in the beginning that they weren't memorable, and they weren't memorable until they became like heroes. So like before that, I think they had some regard and claim, like you see in the give it up to the best mercenaries and all around, blah blah, and everyone's like, get the fuck out of here, whatever. But you start to see later on, as they progress and as they start taking down like really big threats, they become like heroes, like true proper heroes, and it's almost like a 180.
I wouldn't use the word proper.
Fair. It's like what's their line? Why can't you just die with dignity? It's like, we don't do anything with dignity.
Yeah, that was a good line. Fun fact: before they changed the name to Vox Machina, they were called the Shits.
Yes,
superheroes in training.
So they changed it before the show, obviously, for stream.
I love that. That just reminds me of may he rest in peace, Rosie, the shit hero for WWE. But that's fucking hilarious. I mean, so we know. So like you said, there's a lot of stuff that does happen that obviously they can't put on the show. But depending on the popularity, would you guys want to see a lot of the extra stuff turned into like little shorts, like little extras for the show and all that? Like,
not really.
Not necessarily. I don't know. I don't know that we need them, because like I feel like it would lose the charm of what the main show is, I guess. Okay. Like all those side notes that me and Tommy keep talking about, for me, like, are better left in the show itself.
It's different mediums. Like like for an animated show that's like mostly swords and sorcery, action adventure, like that sort of thing. A lot of people complained about the pace, but it really needed that pace, because when they were in the main storyline, that was the fucking pace. And then everything else was just sort of here and there. You guys in the campaign know this. When like we're in the main part of the storyline and shit's going down, the tension gets ratcheted up to like 11. Mm-hmm. But when you have shopping episodes, like it just sort of the pace and everything slows down. So it's
came just in time here to call the shits. Yep.
What's up? Vic Medina is over from Comics Cast. Thank you for joining us, Vic. Let's let you know who's with us tonight is Tommy. He is the Dungeon Master, the guy behind the D&D campaign that we're in called Collateral Damage, which you can hear on Spotify or any app, or go to Imbion and subscribe, because again, Tommy has put that campaign together, so we had to.
And we're getting an animation. I'm so fucking excited.
Yes, that is in the works. It's in the works.
But slowly but surely, right?
But I also think the first 2 episodes were crucial in that they
setting up the next seasons.
Right. They set up the next seasons, and also they gave you enough to know a little bit of like who they were before, like they were actual true heroes, and saviors of the realm kind of bullshit with the Briarwoods,
so like they killed that first dragon, and those prior to them being,
yes, like, but there were also so many other adventures that happened before that in the pre-stream. Like they started campaign 1 streaming at level 9.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there was a bunch of stuff that happened before that they killed
the beholder. There was a whole bunch
they went to the Underdark, killed a beholder that was being corrupted by the Horn of Orcus.
Mm-hmm.
They went through and did a whole thing in Vasselheim, which is like the first city. It had like temples to all the gods on Taldori, and they joined what was it called? The Slayer's Take, I believe was the name of the guild. They killed a white dragon. They killed a Rakshasa. They went through,
which
and there
is
was
why
a bunch
when you saw the cutscene where they're talking about like what's the weirdest or like most interesting creature killed.
I'm gonna ask you.
The Vax'ildan killed a tiger-looking creature. It's actually in D&D. It's called Rakshasa, and it's a demon. if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So this was like a way for them to give the audience who are not familiar with the podcast a little bit of flashback of stuff that they've done before the show.
Yep.
That's actually pretty cool. I like that. That's a great way to storytell.
And more than likely, probably to like set up potential future things, like dropping that one thing. Oh, I killed a Rakshasa. I killed that tiger creature, or whatever. Because like in the campaign, the Rakshasa comes back and tries to kill Vax.
Yeah.
And they have to go to the 9 hells to kill the thing because it will just keep regenerating in the 9 hells and coming back to kill him until it succeeds.
Yep.
That's gonna be interesting.
And so they probably just led with the dragon because you start the season with the dragon, you end the season with the dragons, and the dragons end up being like just a bigger conflict.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing. The whole like the eyes at the beginning in episode 2. It's in the campaign they'll probably call it this in the show too, but it's the Chroma Conclave. So like the dragons in Exandria are like the standard metallic good, chromatic bad, and chromatic dragons canonically do not work together. Like they are greedy, they are usually lone wolves, but there was a conclave of 5 chromatic dragons. They killed the blue dragon, so now there's only 4.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we have that sphere at the end, which I know was definitely going to also lead into more of the fucking story because you know what? It's D&D. Shit happens.
That is gonna be so wild.
The episode where they introduced the Briarwoods, they dropped a big one with the Whispered One. They dropped a big hint for something that's going to happen way later.
Is that Vecna or is that someone else?
It is Vecna.
It is Vecna. So essentially, like I'm hoping that they give us like the entire run, like they give us all the way to their fight with Vecna and whatnot. I don't know how many seasons that will take. I would say maybe like 5 to get everything. And a nice, probably could do it in 3. Who knows?
I think more.
More?
I mean, like the Chroma Conclave was like fucking 60 or 70 episodes in stream.
Yeah, true.
And if they decide to do the whole Terry and Darrington story arc, that's the whole thing. And then they have the whole thing with the spoilers. It's been out for a long time now. They have the whole thing with the Briarwoods returning and trying to bring Vecna into the prime material plane and destroying Tal'Dorei.
So with the episode, so again, going back to the show and the comparison with the podcast. So I mean, obviously they cut stuff out in order to condense it. So do you think that they're gonna do that with the next coming seasons, like to try to tell that story, like stick to a lot of the main stuff?
Yeah,
probably. They had hinted at potentially doing other story arcs that were like maybe doing story arcs out of order, because there's stuff that happens in Vasselheim that is important to later parts in the story.
Right.
But in the campaign, they went to Vasselheim before they dealt with the Briarwoods.
Yeah.
So they have to go to Vasselheim, or they have to change the whole story or to make it fit correctly.
Also, there's just them getting their vestiges is an entire story. We have essentially the
Chroma Conclave. That's that whole thing. They have to get the vestiges in order to defeat them.
They have the Chroma Conclave, but within the Chroma Conclave, they have the vestiges. They have Vasselheim. We have
Keyleth has to go through her whole her Armente.
Yep. So there's a bunch of stuff that they have potentials to do later on.
They take a jaunt into the Feywild to get Vex'ahlia.
Oh my god, yeah.
And they meet Artagan, actually.
Yeah. Who, again, more spoilers, is
the Traveler.
The Traveler.
I'll just say it. This is the Traveler.
Oh man.
Yeah, me and Tommy are fucking spoiling shit left and right for you guys.
We said at the beginning, I'm gonna spoil the shit out of it.
It is what it is, you know.
At the end of the day, I mean it's geeking out.
Tommy, how likely do you think we are if provided, because the first season did so well and they're already like greenlit for season 2, I'm sure they'll get to like do their entire run of Vox Machina, but do you think they'll be able to adapt the Mighty Nine, or
I think the Mighty Nine will work better as an animated series than Vox Machina would, because they're much more developed and nuanced characters. Like you can tell that a lot of these characters were like someone's first D&D character.
Yeah,
like they were like the standard archetypes. Whereas in the Mighty Nine campaign, there were a lot of like nuanced versions of like the classic tropes, and that like they were really it was just such a much more dynamic, I think, in my opinion, party. They weren't just like, it wasn't like fetch quests to go kill the dragons to go do X, Y, and Z. It was, it was a lot more. It was a lot more left field. I think it would do well as a lot of really weird twists and turns.
Again,
they're also the unlikely heroes. Like compared to the Vox Machina, like by the end of both campaigns, Vox Machina are revered as basically like heroes of the realm, blah blah, and third, versus the Mighty Nine. By the end of it, they say they saved the realm too, but only a handful of people would have known it. So like they're not revered as like heroes throughout the realm because no one knows that they did what they did.
So let me ask you guys about the art style, because I know like with our campaign that we've been doing in Kalara Damage, we've been seeing some fantastic art. With Vox Machina, was there any like artwork that was done for it? And also too, what do you think about the animation pull for some of that artwork for the characters?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. They had fan art from like almost the beginning of their series. So like a lot of that helped inspire like their later designs.
Not only that,
at least I would think.
Yes, they said. I remember they said that in one of the Q&A videos they did leading up to the release of the series. But if I remember correctly, I can't remember the artist's name, and I'm terrible for this. But he did.
Art. He was
he did like New 52 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And they drew a lot from that, and they worked with Titmouse Animation, who did like Adventure Time and that sort of deal. So it had that sort of like really cartoonish look, but also had like a comic book sort of fantasy. I don't know. It was just a really cool blend of like the New 52 art style, which was really cool, and the like sort of cartoon aspects, I think.
Yeah, I felt like it for me when I was looking at the art style. It felt like Bruce Timm's art meets anime, just the way how crisp it looked too, and again the expressions and the characters, and then the world. I love the giants. They drew the giants in there. I was like, just the flesh mounds that they were and all that. I was like, dude, I was like, I could see where Tommy gets the idea to put us through all the trauma and all that.
Oh, I remember when I fucking vividly remember the session. Hell, hey.
Hello. Aurelius was like, "Where are the boys? I can't find them on Facebook." Oh, Adventure Time. Got you. I was like, Avery. Who's Avery?
Yeah, so we're talking Vox Machina for those who don't know. So again, it's D&D animation based on the Critical Role podcast, Vox Machina on Amazon Prime. All the episodes are out right now. And again, I mean, I love the characters. I mean, so let's talk about Scanlan and his battle.
Scanlan's hand. Which one? Which battle?
Oh,
yeah, he had a whole bunch of. I mean, it's funny. Like even thinking about like watching it and being a player, so knowing like all the shit that has to go down, like the saves you have to do, the rolls you have to do, like the situations you're in, like just thinking about how you take all that and like put it into the story that they did. So like I think Scanlan was such a great choice because Scanlan being a bard and he's a gnome, right? Or a halfling, right? Against essentially Clegane, because that's who voiced him. Is like he had to do like so many out of the box things and like making sure everything worked out right on the campaign, but then translating over. So I really thought like it's not just the original story, it's also just like luck of the dice for this shit to work. And I was just like, it's like
I remember watching that whole fucking fight like on the stream, and it played out pretty close to that. Like it was bonkers.
Yeah. Like someone's grabbing the potions and I'm like
so like I also love like what they're
doing
in
stream.
Or what they're doing with everyone, where it's like, oh shit, like I can cast polymorph for myself because he just like he saw the scroll and he's like, well, I guess I could fucking do it now, and just turned himself into like a Triceratops. Amazing.
I fucking love it because every time I see someone like in the animation, who's getting their ass handed to him, I'm like, oh, that person got an unlucky roll right there, didn't they? It's like fuck.
And so Percy's misfires, those like nat ones. Or was there a different mechanic?
Misfires
There's actually
are
a mechanic. There's
Yeah.
a mechanic for misfire. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this way it was like it's not to OP the weapon when they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah.
And they nerf the hell out of the casters too, because like if they let the casters do all the things that they did within the game, it would have just looked absolutely ridiculous. So it was like mainly like the big spells like that they came up
Wait,
with.
so they nerfed them in the show?
In the show for sure. Not in not in the campaign, but like
no, in like the anime show. Because if you think about it, like at level 9, Keyleth's a druid. She's doing some pretty powerful shit.
Yeah.
You got a level 9 fighter.
And at that point, I think she was able to. I think she had already done part of her Armente, so she was able to wild shape into like elementals.
Oh, that's right.
I think she was able to do like earth elementals and fire elementals were the two that she had done. So like she could that fight was like way more complicated and way more drawn out in the campaign, but like the essential beats that happened during that fight, that's pretty much how it worked out.
Okay.
It's funny, I gotta say, like we were watching so in the beginning, the first big bad that you get in the show, which is the dragon, I called it. I was like, it's the fucking general. It was the fucking general. Because I'm like, the other guy, I was like, it's just a trope that there's like, oh, the creepy guy. No, it's not the creepy guy, it's the fucking general.
That's what his name is. Phil Barusa, who is the lead art designer, the concept art. I've been looking for it like this entire time. Nah, because his shit was amazing. Like they put so much love and attention to detail into this entire thing, from not only just like rewriting the script and like getting the animation together, getting the music together, but like then you look at the voice cast. Like they dropped a video of the voice cast, and me, Zell, Tommy, like, everyone's like, how the fuck? It was like having a Christmas list, and they were just like, David we can get
Tennant
everything.
One of the villains, like David Tennant was one of the villains. Like how the fuck? Like yes, sign me up. Shut up and take my money.
Like,
and
money.
What I find funny too, because like I'm sure I know Matt had guest people come on, but essentially Matt's doing all these fucking voices. And then Matt only did
he has to relinquish.
And he did like he just does the one big bad voice in this, which I thought. And did he do the narration in the opening? Was that him too? Okay.
Yes, and
he did a couple of NPCs.
Like, you're at,
you can actually find Matt in the
world.
episodes.
Like he's like his face.
Oh, really?
Playing random characters in this. Yeah.
Like in the first 3 episodes, he was the guard. He was the guard that Scanlan pissed on at the. At the thing. He was the guy who was pulling the cart of ale that Grog grabbed while they were looking for Creepy Dude, and he was the guy at the weapon check for the dinner at the palace.
Yep. Oh, okay, that's funny.
And I guess they did that without him knowing. Like the rest of the cast and the crew were like, you have to draw these NPCs as Matt, and the animation guys drew them as Matt and didn't tell them until they aired.
That's fucking fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
I love how we get introduced to them in the fucking bar.
Standard.
Because it's a standard D&D thing. Like you get like the party in the bar, and especially like if you've known like our party ends up in a bar all the time. It just happens. Wherever there is a bar, we go.
Yeah, we have a bunch of raging alcoholics in our party.
Jesus Christ. that is putting it very lightly, sir.
About that, Tommy, give us give everybody a quick description of the Medusa's Cascade and the party. If you
you've done it. You've done like the character versus player thing or something like that. Like you gave like notes about us. Tommy.
TikTok like a long while ago.
Your first round of TikToks were the character description.
Yeah. God, I could update those. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to give you a brief description? Like,
go ahead, brief description. Let's see if you can a brief description.
This campaign is so convoluted; it's not even funny.
It's like you think it's convoluted, then you add in more wrinkles. Like the wrinkle that we just found out this past Saturday is like, you're fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ! It's like in the fucking MCU, man.
We're literally just dealing with something, and then we have more shit coming in, and we're like, how? Like literally, there's 3 things happening at once. Why? How?
What's funny is that logically it makes sense that those things would be would happen. It's just like, why are we dealing with it? Like,
Right.
And like I said in what was it? Well, I think it was the last episode, either the last episode or the episode before that we just released on the podcast, where I think it was Zex and Shanks were talking about,
Hey,
there's
Gus.
you
should be asleep, sir.
They said, you guys said we're talking about how I can't believe how many eyes are on us, and I was like, it's because you're the main characters of the campaign, you assholes. Like, you guys wrote these stories.
Yep.
I know this is meta, so it's okay, but brief description. So after they narrowly escape and somehow vanquish Strahd from Barovia,
vanquish is a very painted very nicely.
You said
that
brief.
Was a botch.
You said brief. I'm being nice.
You're right.
So after
Tommy was like, all right, listen, I actually want to tell a story here, so I'm not going to TPK them. I'm going to work a mechanic in here. So I can tell my actual homebrew story with these fuckheads.
I mean, it's not wrong.
That was the worst time to try to take a sip of water.
I mean, you're not wrong.
he's like, I kind of like their characters. I don't want to.
There's potential here, and we haven't even answered any of the questions that they have.
And we're still in a regular written ass module by Wizards of the Coast. Come on, guys.
We were supposed to be done with this a year ago. How come we're still here?
Oh man.
But that conversation is a brief description of the campaign. No, they get out of Barovia. They find out several things about several of the different characters, including that Shanks is a wanted murderer in Granzia, that something's killing the Goliaths in the north. Zex is trying to reconnect with Argo to try and get help to find the machines. There are machines that are pulling the fucking planes together. It's the Constable. Fuck that guy.
We hate that guy. Every time,
I am so happy you hate him.
Everyone just collectively just fuck. Fuck this guy.
It makes my heart sing every time I see you guys are just like, oh god damn it. It's like, yes. I have found the villain that I know I can pull out and just be like, here he is. And you guys are like, not this guy again. The motherfucker that I got from Hutch when I pulled him up on the map, elation. It was just over the moon. I can't tell you how happy I was when that happened.
Oh man.
And that my plan actually worked. DM's dreams do come true.
I'm waiting. I got a little bit of fun for you guys planned.
So when it comes down back to VOX Machina, and then converting it over from the podcast to the animation, the world, you were talking about the art and all that. So the world, how well did you think that they captured the world, the animation team, in terms of the background characters and also to the background sets that we saw there? Because it was very beautiful done in this animation from everything I've seen.
It's wild because as many maps as we've seen and as many fan art things as we've seen,
people don't draw landscapes, and it bothers me because I can never find landscape artists because I want landscapes and visual aids for my campaign. And please, if you're an artist and you like doing landscapes, contact me at your earliest convenience because I need some landscapes done.
Wait. Yeah, wait. You were on Mike's podcast. I think last week when talking about D&D. Did you get to talk to Andrew?
Yes, Andrew. I am in contact with Andrew, or will be, or life has been crazy. But yes, Andrew is the first one that I've met in a long time. There needs to be more. I would like to talk to more people as well. Anyway, I agree with Law. You don't see a lot of actual art of these places except for maybe a handful of pieces that you see in the books. If you have the Teldori guide, I gotta get the new one, but it was cool to see it. The way that Matt described both Amon and Whitestone, it was dead on. I always visualized the Sun Tree a lot smaller, but it makes sense that it is that big.
Right.
It just in my head it didn't compute. I needed a visual aid for that one because the scene where they find the group of people that are being hung and dressed up like them. We in the campaign we just saw that they just walked it up to it and they realized like that whole thing, like Keyleth standing by and saying, "Wow, that's us."
It's almost beat for beat. Like,
but they also added in that thing with the Briarwoods beforehand that was like sort of was like a teaser to what was about to happen. But I mean, like the gothic sort of look of the Derolo Manor and the way they described Whitestone, Emon was very much the way that you saw it on the map at the very least, like setup wise. But like, I mean, it was fucking awesome. But you barely see any artwork of the actual setting.
So for us, as we're listening to it, like as you know, Matt's describing it on the podcast, we only have our own imagination. So like for me, Castle Whitestone didn't quite look the same, especially like once they go like underground and like start going through like the acid, like
the way they did all of that, I didn't see that as the same thing in my head, but it looked so goddamn cool.
Right.
Like, the ziggurat was so cool, and like the spinning black orb was cool, and I was like, I am so glad that I know what that is, because that's so awesome that they're dropping it now.
Yeah. Also, getting the guy who just gets sucked in, that was amazing.
Was that described by Matt as something that happened, or you just know it as an
Keyleth almost got sucked in the campaign. She went to go touch it, and she like rolled really high on a strength save and barely pulled her hand out before like she got hurt. She took damage from it, but she almost got sucked into it.
Yeah, that's always fun.
So
hold on. So what I always find interesting too, because when we play these campaigns, you play as your characters, and you don't get a lot of. I don't know if anyone else does it. I know like every once in a while, it's Hurt in his campaign. He did like the anime cutscenes or that have nothing relation to us, right? But did that happen in the campaign on air, or like because like all the stuff we get with the Briarwoods behind the scenes, like when they get to the tree and they kill all those people, and you find out that like he's super strong, he's a vampire. When they do that thing with the family, all that background shit, where the main characters are not in there, it's all just happening in Matt's head, but not on the campaign.
Exactly. The way you experience as a player is the way that we experienced it when we were watching the stream, because you're sitting there, you're a passive observer of the players playing the game. It's just like,
okay.
So like I mean, either watching it on stream or podcast, like if you listen to our podcast, like you guys are finding that out in real time with the audience, essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
So if let's like again with looking to turn Medusa's Cascade into an animation, do you think that that's something that you're inputting in the writing with helping with fleshing more of the world around the characters like that too as well?
Yeah, we're gonna have to tweak some stuff, but yeah, like we can't do the whole Curse Strahd thing because that's Wizard of the Coast.
Essentially, we would be doing the same VOX Machina thing where it happened, like all that pre stuff happened, and then we're at a certain level.
Nope.
No?
Starting right from the beginning. We're just changing the whole Barovia arc into something different. It's going to be the same basic premise, but it's not going to be...
It's going to be with a vampire overlord?
No, there's going to be no vampire.
Okay.
No vampire, but you are going to be in like a heavy plane, and you have to stop. Like I think we've fleshed out like the first 7 episodes, like at least beats and things to go on. So like, I think the last one, we'd be getting to the hags at like episode 7.
Oh, the fucking hags!
But it's very different from how it was in game, because we don't have the element of Strahd and that whole thing, so it's gonna augment how that works.
Now let me ask you this: the character that Percy was going to kill, who was in the prison,
Ripley.
When are we going to see her again?
Later on.
Later on, for sure. Ripley is a fucking damn good villain, I would say.
Yeah.
Really? She comes back?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Damn good villain. I gotta say.
So
are the Briarwoods.
Spoilers, so do the Briarwoods.
The Briarwoods are fucking fantastic villains. Love them. I mean, it makes so much sense, like when they said they were starting with the Briarwood arc, because it feels like that's where they really gelled as a team. Like things started getting picked up and coming together. The hardest thing, which it was so nice to see them do, was all that stuff with Pike, where
Ashley, I really love that.
Ashley in real time, she wasn't able to like be there. So there would be times where she was Skyping, but a lot of the time she couldn't because she was filming another show.
She was on the blind spot.
She was on the blind spot in New York, and they're filming in LA. So she would like call in, or it's a whole thing. So essentially, like a lot of the stuff that would have happened with her or happen off screen with her, we got to see like in real time, like, you know, for the first time, and it was fucking amazing. Like her being like a spectral entity, like of herself, like when she was in the ziggurat, and then just super that, like it was amazing.
That happened.
Okay.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I cried when she was going through those shit. I was like, same with Keyleth. Like I cried
a lot throughout the entire season. Jesus Christ. Because I think me and Tommy, like as fans who like know what's going on,
I don't even care about what's going on. It's just like seeing that character growth, like especially with with Keyleth, where like Keyleth is so like down on herself and she doesn't feel anything, and it's like the moment of need, everyone needs her the most, and she just like absolutely obliterates, just like the sunbeam that she shoots at Silas at the end of the Briarwood fight. Like that was just so like I don't know, it was just like I was so proud and like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like oof,
No, I love the animation fight scenes too that they did in this, because it's like,
oh my god,
how like the spells and everything.
To be fair, the Blue Dragon fight is still one of my favorite fights, because I don't feel like we got to see it on screen at all, right? You said it took place before, so like to have that, oh man, that was so good, like so fucking dope.
Yeah, no, it reminded, the animation fighting just reminded me a lot of Castlevania.
Yeah.
Gave me big Castlevania vibes, and like how they did how the gore happened and how they did the action sequences. It just very much reminded me of what they did with Castlevania, which is a very much welcome, because it's so good.
which we will say it again. They need to be the ones to do Berserk. Anyway, no, I mean, I love the fight scenes that they did, the animation with the fight scenes, because it looked very fluid, especially like when they were doing the power, like their abilities and everything. What's his face? That's the Goliath. I keep thinking Grog. I was thinking Gronk, but it's Grog. I loved his battle with Briarwood. How they were just fighting, and Grog.
He did that in fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
He closed the whole closing his eyes and swinging recklessly.
Yeah,
he did that in game. Like that's how it worked out. Like that's literally what happened. He missed a bunch of times, then finally he like crits. All of a sudden, it just like swung the battle.
That's just fucking. I like how they just like. So how did it feel seeing them incorporate that, a lot of the stuff in game, and just
it was really fucking dope to watch, man. Like, because you figure you're getting like just hearing Grog say, "I would like to rage," brought me goosebumps, because that's Travis's thing throughout all of campaign 1. Every time he goes into a rage, he technically like he asks Matt, he's like, "I would like to rage," and he like, "All right." Grog goes into a rage. He's like, "All right, let's do this." But hearing it in like the animation, like you're just like, oh, he said it. He said the thing. Ah,
yeah. But he can't use it too much. It's got to feel like organic, like in the scene with the dragon.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he was just like beating the shit out of guys with the arrows. Like, stop hitting me with arrows.
Yes, that happened in game 2.
Yep.
And him jumping in the acid and all that.
Yeah.
No, like most of those big points like were directly pulled from shit that happened in game. Like Vex getting Vax getting hypnotized by Silas again and shutting them into the trap. That happened. Grog having to dive into the acid to undo the valve. That happened. That whole thing between like Percy like not doing anything for the vast majority of that until Vex like smacks the shit out of him and tells him to, you know, like get back to reality. That happened in game. Like, if I remember correctly, it's been a little while, but I'm pretty sure most of those beats happened.
Scanlan throwing the gun into the acid.
Yes, that happened.
Yeah, like the way they described it in like
it was way more spaced out though.
Right. So you're seeing like a bunch of stuff and you're just like, oh shit. But now you're seeing it and you're just like, oh shit. Because like Orthax, for all intents and purposes, like he's a major thing that happens with Percy, but it feels so like small by comparison to the rest of the campaign, at least for me. But in this, because no one really has a gauge or concept for Percy and what he's going through and like Orthax at all, it and the way they like portrayed it in that like final like scene, it looks amazing because you're just like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on with him? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how did that play? So when Percy would see someone on the list, would it be one of those things where he has to make a save and Matt controls him, or like
Oh
that's a
no.
thing him and Matt talked about and it would
Oh,
happen?
That was an integral part of Percy's character. That was his sole motivation, was to kill the people on his list. Period. End of story. He did whatever else with the rest of the group because it helped give him money to refine his pepper box so that he could kill the people that killed his family. Like that was his whole thing. So if there was somebody that was on his list, he would act exactly like he did. He's like, "Oh,
He had
motherfuckers are
the
here."
magic initiate feat too. So he had hex and a bunch of other shit that he used to
Oh
fucking
no,
pull.
it wasn't even that. He had a level of warlock that the rest of the characters didn't know. He came in at 3rd level.
Oh, he did have a warlock level. I wasn't
'Cause
sure
he
that he
made
did.
And that was the pact, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Got it. I thought it was a magic initiate feat the
No,
whole
he
time.
had a
So was
warlock. He had like 2 warlock levels.
Interesting.
And the visual that you see of his eyes with that's from the campaign, and that was something that happened, or that was more they added that for the effect in the show?
I'm sure they described it like that. Like
Right.
that whole thing where he was seeing his family being killed and he was shooting at them, but really he was seeing other things. Like immediately my mind went to like, this is what happens when, the DM is just saying like, oh, he takes over, you fail your wisdom save, he takes over, and then he's going to attack you, you, and you. And then he gives the explanation afterward, or they give the explanation afterward. Like this is like happening in real time, sort of overlaying the explanation with the actions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was what exactly happened in the campaign. It's been a little while since I've watched the first campaign, but
Gus, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Watch VOX Machina, and you won't have to have big brain, moments. Just watch and enjoy.
I mean, I'll be honest. Someone who has not listened to the podcast and watching the animation, it is a really great animation. It's a strong animation.
Yes.
I'm glad it has a season 2. I'm hoping it gets a couple of more seasons.
Very rich in lore.
It is, and you can see that they did establish a lot just in this one season, and not bad for episodes that are only 30 minutes. So you get
very felt much. Each of those 30-minute episodes were full of content. Like it wasn't bullshit.
There was no
for
downtime.
20, it was
yeah.
Like if I'm gonna watch a 30-minute show and like you get 3 at a time, you're like, all right, cool. This hour and a half or hour I'm about to spend, it felt like invested good time.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you get a weekly show and it's like, all right, well, this episode was a waste of fucking time.
Yeah.
I felt like they really put everything they needed to, and like they got their points across, which I thought was really great.
And let's be honest, any episode with Scanlan was just fucking awesome.
Scanlan's hand.
Oh my god. So for you guys, because you haven't really watched, or you haven't watched at all, what are you guys looking forward to with the Easter eggs that were dropped, or with what me and Tommy have been talking about so far?
I mean, I'm excited for Vecna, but I know Vecna happens at the end, and
Right.
when they bring in Manganello's character and that whole thing, right?
That was cool.
That was fucking wild.
Right. But
I hope they bring in Will Friedle's character too.
Same.
I think there's also the arc with like the Sword of Kos, and like there's a lot of stuff that happens with Grog and
which
him
got
dealing
dropped because that was Silas's sword.
Yeah, well, I thought that was a different sword because I looked it up. There's the Sword of Kos, and there was a different sword that he picked up from Blackwood.
He had the Blood Edge, or I think is what it was.
The Blood
Not
Axe.
Not a Blood Axe, but it was. He got the Blood Axe later.
Mm-hmm.
He got Silas's sword. It like cursed him, and he almost died from it. And then I think
because Pike saves him from that sword. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
But he has it like now, and he keeps it
for a while.
I would say.
And then he throws one in the lava, right? There's one he throws.
You're thinking of the sword. Yeah, that's Ford.
Okay.
That's the Falchion.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like there's just a bunch of shit I think it's gonna be. I mean, I just know like from little bits here and there. But yeah, no, I'm just excited to see just good stuff, which is what I feel like we're we're getting.
I have no context. I just want more adventure, and I was like, for me, I kind of like going into it blind and seeing what they're doing, and then asking the comparison between the podcasts of what was in there, what's not, because it's like for me, it's just like this is just a great thing that they were able to do this campaign, have fun doing this, and now you're getting to see it as an animation. Because yeah, I've heard you guys talk about the Mighty Nine, and again hearing about Vox Machina. I was like, shit, it's a lot of stuff to listen to because I'll be like, yeah, I gotta go listen to the episodes, and it'd be some long shit. I'm like,
someone did the math, and if you watch all of campaign 1, 2, and any of like the stuff, or no, it's just 1 and 2. The amount of time it takes, you could have finished One Piece. But I still refuse to watch One Piece.
Yeah,
I do too.
Refuse
What? We're about
to
to
watch
get One Piece hate right now.
Honestly, I binged through campaign 1 while I was working in a factory. I worked second shift, so I had my headphones in while I was on the factory floor, or one headphone in, listening to the audio, and just keep rolling through. Just download a bunch of episodes and listen to it because I got no service in the building, and then go home, and then watch probably at least one more episode before I went to bed, and just repeat. Like that was the only way I was able to do it in like the first 3 months of the quarantine, but I was also listening to like fucking 16 hours of it a day.
That's kind of how I caught up on the Mighty Nine, because I started with the Mighty Nine because that's what Tommy introduced me to. So during the beginning of the pandemic, I just binged the whole way through. By the time
I started with the Mighty Nine too.
by the time they were live again, like they had taken the hiatus because of the pandemic, and they started going live again, I was caught up with Mighty Nine, and then I was already working my way through campaign 1.
Yeah, that was me for the pandemic too. I was trying to catch up to campaign where they were in campaign 2. I finally did because of the pandemic, and I was like, well, I don't know when they're going to come back on, so fuck it, I'm just going to go for campaign 1, and I just binged through campaign 1 in like 3 months.
God damn.
But that was just because I was obsessed, and that was when we were really starting to pick up, and like everyone was starting to get really interested into their characters in our game. So I was like, I started listening to that. I started listening to Adventure Zone. I started listening to Dimension 20, Dungeons and Daddies, Not Another D&D podcast. Like there are so many out there. I was like, well, fuck it. Like all I'm doing is working in a factory. Might as well just try and learn as much as I can from hearing other people.
It's just a lot of content for you to absorb. It's so much. Like
yeah.
Well, when you do a mindless factory job, it's like I can just listen to something while I do the same repetitive motion over and over again for 8 hours. So what does it matter?
That's true.
Yep.
So in terms of collateral damage, and we want to ask Tommy about anything about collateral damage of where we're going.
He's not gonna spoil nothing.
He's not gonna spoil nothing. So essentially, where we are in this past episode, spoilers.
If out of curiosity, how surprised were you guys to see the constable show up for Ty?
So I was surprised to see the constable. 20,000 times more surprised for the constable to see Ty, like to get Ty. In my head, I was like, shit.
He's here for you.
Yo, for real. Like I had nothing that told me otherwise.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, shit. Guess I gotta like pay the piper at this point.
It's just this son of a bitch again. And it's just like, well, I guess we're gonna attempt to fight him and get our asses kicked.
Right. Is that fuck shit again? The constable. You need like a theme song every time he works in.
And I introduce you guys to the judge of the jury and the executioner.
Yeah, we're gonna fight them eventually.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Everybody would eventually fight, you know? Just
we got Antonius who's ready to lay the fucking smackdown with us.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know when that's happening, but anytime soon.
Nope. Not even in the slightest.
Not even close.
Nope.
So who has been everyone's favorite character? Because we even through the pandemic, again, this has been a D&D episode for those who are watching right now, listening. Who has been your favorite character that you've played thus far as a player? Tommy, we'll start with you because you never get to talk about being a player because you're always DM. But go ahead.
As a character, I'm gonna. I don't know how many of you will agree with this, but it is my. It's a tie between Meander, which is like my high elf rogue, that I get to play like once a month, or for the brief time that I did play her, I really loved playing Rig.
Sure, you fucking did.
I mean, it's always fun when you have like such a crazy ulterior motive, and then you get past everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And you guys have no context for her backstory because Shanks wouldn't let me explain anything, or he wouldn't explain anything. So you had no context for her being there as well.
Nope, not even in the slightest.
No.
By the time we knew it was too late, and then me and Galahad were fucking 100% just kill the bitch.
Spider-Man meme.
Yeah. Oh my god, Spider-Man meme for sure.
That was fantastic. Tone, what about you? Come on, brother. You got a few.
I love Galahad, but I would have to say Asuvius was my favorite, just because it really grew into like who he is. It was my second character because you kind of never know what you're gonna do with your first character, and you make your second character. And I was like, all right, I'm not gonna do the whole like following the god thing. I'm just gonna be like a reckless barbarian, and it kind of just turned from being this reckless murder hobo into like this person who has a best friend that he's trying to like bring up, and he has like a solid family, so he doesn't have real trauma. And it kind of like lets everything roll off his shoulders until like the final end when he gives up the thing he's been looking for what he realized he cares the most for, you know? And I didn't know it was going to go that way. It kind of just happened because like Seabass in that scene when all that shit went down prior to our last episode, Seabass was here. Like Seabass was sitting right over there when that happened. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, how am I going to go about this? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking go for it. I'm going to show a side of Vesuvius that he like no one's seen. And it's kind of like, it kind of just worked.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to come out.
And I've waited a long fucking time. We've come a long way from don't all dragons blow fire, and I'm like, that's racist.
I loved doing that to you.
That was amazing.
Use your fire
about that.
You want to just use your fire breath?
That was good.
Law.
I hate picking favorites. I truly hate picking favorites. I feel like I don't want to, but because honestly, like I love them all. Like, and I've said it before, like they're all. I didn't realize at the time I was making them that they all share like characteristics of myself, or like they are versions of myself.
I think all PCs are, man.
So like, you know, Zex is, oh my god. The more Zex does shit, I'm like, god damn, I gotta bring something therapy. Like all the things. But
talk to somebody, man. Like it's doable.
Yo, so between like Zex, Briarios, my fucking sad tragic boy, Jesus Christ. I'll always have a special I'll always have a special place in my heart for Briarios. Eve 2, Valen is one of my favorite. Valen's one of my favorite, I would say, fun characters.
He is your funnest character.
He is my funnest character.
I think that whole party is like the funnest party.
Yeah, for the most part. And then he's referring to Briarios. And then believe it or not, I really love Cal. Like I really want to play Cal again because I think Cal is like fucking like a lovable, just gentle giant.
We'll do another memoir job one shot.
That'd be fun.
Seabass.
Well,
Soap. It's gonna be Soap. It's gonna be fucking Soap.
Roll at me, son.
Soap is my favorite. Soap and Miz are my favorite characters for you.
It is like I like Kyver because prior to playing with you guys, I played with another party and didn't get to really flesh out the character. And then when Tommy was like, I can come in and play a evil, chaotic character because that's how the character started. I was like, I'm going to pump as much as I can in this character because I'm like, it's going to be fun because everyone I already knew was going to be a good character. And I was like, and coming up with the backstory and everything, that was the fun thing with playing with Kyver. Miz, I don't know, Miz was just one of those interesting things of a character to play because he's like, it's a character I got to start from the beginning and finish, and it was like just the route that the character went. He has a happy but tragic backstory at the very end, and it was fun playing with Miz. It was like mercenary unit. You saw the growth in everybody with the character, but the one that's been the top for me has been Bob. Bob Boy. He's been just
fucking Bob, man. I can't wait to see what happens with him because from watching you play him and us knowing like, dude, like, are you sure you know? Like, because Bob has no idea. He's fucking clueless to what's happening. Like, or he doesn't understand what's happening. And we're just there watching you play him, and we're like, bravo, sir. Because
it's Bruce Campbell.
It is. It's so
I'm not gonna lie. I really like the fact that you use Mask of Many Faces to go do like Bruce Campbell. Like
I just had to, because I was thinking like
that needs to be a mainstay. You need to look like Bruce Campbell for the rest of the campaign. Like that needs to be Bob's form.
If you don't, I would be fucking severely disappointed.
You have Mask of Many Faces. I'll just say like that you cast it on the hour every hour because you have it as a program in your fucking brain that you always look like Bruce Campbell.
But it works because, like I said, with Bob, he's trying to look and be human, and it's like he's trying to learn human characteristics. I was like, it was funny. It was like, I wanted to approach it like Data. Data was always trying to learn like how to be human, but I was like, how would a fantasy warforged learn how to do that? And it's just really funny how everything reacts, and he's just okay. How would a character react to it? And again, I thank my DMs for giving me the opportunity to just get into these characters' heads, because even when what was it, Ursus took the pamphlet and wiped it, I was like, oh
my god, that was amazing.
It was this close that Bob almost went into Barbarian for rage because he was angry about that. It was
like, he's like, can I take a dip into rage? Can I take a dip into Barbarian for a second?
The most beautiful part was when we did the solo session. It was me, Cheyenne, and Tommy. And when Bob got his last name, and then I saw it on Tommy's face.
Oh yeah,
when it happened, because it just slowly, he's like, "Fuck, I did it," and I was like, "I am taking that. There you go. Thank you. It is Bob Bowie now." It's been fun. It's been fun playing that character because it's like I don't even know what he's gonna do. I just look at everybody else, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to base this off because this is how Bob would react to what you're doing right now.
Yeah, essentially you are the reactionary character. You're not so much the audience, but you are like another audience kind of view, because like you, again, like you said, you're reacting to us and the world as Tommy presents it, because for Bob, like everything is new. Like you basically are like, you might as well be like a 5-year-old kid.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm really glad that you stopped with like the blood orgy Sundays. Like, I'm glad that we went away from that.
I was gonna get away from that because asked me like, is this character gonna get any growth? I'm like, he is. He's reacting to the world, and it was just something I was like, okay, how can I really get that this character is very childlike, very gullible, and then the whole thing about the church was that okay, I just took from experience, like he got caught by a pyramid scheme. You get introduced to a character who got caught by a pyramid scheme. Okay, I gotta get as many recruits as possible because you know what? Here's these pamphlets I gotta hand out, and then just to now.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I actually gotta.
That makes a lot of sense. Now with that explanation to all of the shit that you did, that makes a lot of sense now.
It all tracks.
Yes, it does.
It's like, and I love it's just like you let us have fun with it, man. That's it. Just roll with it.
I have a question for Tommy.
Okay.
And then we'll flip it for you. But essentially, because we've played so many different characters in all of your many campaigns and one shots and what have you, what have been like the surprising things that you found about us as players, and like the memorable moments that we've had as a player.
I'm constantly surprised by how often you think that you guys think that I'm going to kill you. It's like, dude, if I wanted to kill you, I would have killed you so long ago. Like this is your story. I'm gonna help you find ways out of it. There's always a way out.
Unless you run at the level 20 paladin.
Right.
Yeah, yes. Like that one. I mean, there's a reason why I said running is okay. You're allowed to run. It might be a good idea.
Yep.
There was a reason for that, and that was part of it. The level 20 paladin and the jewel cost that would not have turned out well for anyone either. I'm surprised by that, but I can kind of understand that as well. What was the second half of the question?
Like, what are bits from us, either throughout like our like character, like in session, like moments, like we said something or did something that you were just like, this always sticks in the back of my mind, or us as like the player, like those moments that you remember.
Anytime Galahad acts like the surrogate dad of the party, with the it's like his kids are at fucking Disney World and they're like, Daddy, I want to go over here. It's like, fine.
Yeah, I lean in. That's just that comes natural, man.
Yep. No, I can tell. It's you're really good with that. So it's like that I always enjoy
aging too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it's perfect. And you have that mentality. Everyone else is like, oh my god. You're just like, are they oh, okay. So another god is involved with this. So are they actively attacking me right now? No. Then so I don't care.
The super dad response.
I don't care until it's biting me in the ass. Okay, so like let's hang out. Let's stop freaking out and keep on task here. That's one of my favorite bits. I've really enjoyed seeing Joe and Argyle develop as both player and character. He's become a lot more involved in the storytelling. I don't know, just the crazy like rules lawyering sometimes is funny. Like with the elven speed, that one was great. Like that's such a great argument.
The disease one.
Yep. That was perfect. I was like, you know what?
You can't argue it, or it's a good argument rather.
A favorite bit that I like to do is asking you guys to roll random dice and not telling you what they're for. Like that's my favorite.
Have you ever asked us to roll a random dice and it was just bullshit and just wanted to keep us tense?
No, every time I have asked you to roll a die, it has actually meant something.
Oh, okay.
Which I have also now adopted.
Oh, of course. It's more fun that way. The suspension is terrible. I hope it never ends. I hope it continues. Yeah, I mean, like for me, that's what it's been. I've enjoyed things from all of you guys, so it's just been watching you guys grow as players and characters has been really interesting. Frustrate the shit out of me sometimes. I'll definitely give you that, but I feel like that's sort of the deal.
To be expected.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I would say for you as RDM, your ability to like play such a long game with us, like there's stuff like it hasn't come up in the podcast yet, but you basically dropped something that you were like, I've been waiting 2 fucking years to drop this on Zex. And I was like, the fuck you mean 2 years? You were like, that was one of the first things I ever wrote about you. Empty backstory. And I was like, well,
that's a blank check for trauma.
Yep. And I was like, well, shit. Because to be fair,
I think my literal words were, this is what you wanted.
Absolutely. And I get it. But that's also why I love you. I would say that, and then also your ability to storytell. Like whether it be describing the world or whether it be like your NPCs. I fucking love all your NPCs. Absolutely fucking love all your NPCs. Chico's one of my Chico's hands out like the fan favorite. Welby, fucking to be the Vistani grandmother will always be my fucking favorite.
Yep. Mr. Biggs, when you guys hear the whole side of Shanks and Argyle, it's the same voice as the fat cat from Nymora.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes. Oh, a piece of bacon. Oh, thank you.
Even like, you know, with Bahamut, or like the demeanor you have when you portray like Elrin, or the demeanor you have when you portray the constable, like those, like you fall into them so fucking easily at this point. And like I already have, it helps that some of it has art, but I already have this vision in my head of like when you're describing who they are, what they look like, their whole spiel.
Yeah.
So I would only hope that I can do that when I DM for you guys. Seabass, I'm gonna tag you.
You can tag me.
Yep.
What was the question again? Because I love hearing you guys explain.
Essentially, the same question to Tommy about like that we gave Tommy, but we now respond to him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like this. Like Tommy has a knack for definitely world building, and the whole thing with being able to take these characters on journeys, like even with getting to play Soap, with how he took something, and that was a very surprising thing for me too. Like when we were playing that one shot, and I was like, oh, and how he took some stuff from backgrounds and weaved it into that story, and how it actually leads into the whole big overarching story. I was like, dude, like you give him something of a background, we give you something of a background of a character, and you weave it in so perfectly to fit this world and to still make it a big shocker for the player. I do like the fun moments that we have too, like because there are a lot of fun joking moments that we have, and may take up a whole session, but it's just funny because like it's just that's when all the fuck shit happens and all the fun gold of the, and I feel like it's like it helps with the, in a way, in the storytelling of helping to characterize the characters, because it's a little bit of us that we put in there.
Break the tension.
Yeah, like to break the tension, because like, you know, there are some very tense moments, but it's like those tension breakers, like when we did the whole shit with the coffee, that was fucking hilarious. And then Wiakwa did the shit with the fire. And
fucking hanging Kyver from the fucking rafters.
Yep.
Still,
they threw fucking bees at me.
That's
what I call friendship.
You'd be like, when
they're working together.
When I was like, I've been holding on to this jar of bees since Barovia, and you guys were like, what? And I was like, just let's go with it. I fucking hugged it. Oh, the look on everyone's face, priceless. Loved it.
I was just laughing because I was like, how many rows at the time?
Dude, it makes no sense. Like you said, the god of idiots.
The god of idiots. Right.
The god of idiots.
Oh my god. Tone.
You know. Oh, I gotta say, like, I enjoy the twists. I will tell you now, as you know, the Antonius reveal was not one that I was ever expecting, because I built it up in my head that he followed the same god that I did. And I never wrote it. I don't think I ever wrote it. I think it was just kind of assumed.
Not. Yeah. I literally went to the backstory that you sent me, because when I had that idea, I was like, if he wrote it in his backstory, I'm not going to change his backstory. I'll figure out something different for this. But you had just said that you had found a human paladin named Antonius, and he taught you the ways of being a paladin and told you about the Oath of Conquest, and you decided on that oath, and you spent 3 years going towards that oath. And I was like, okay, he didn't say anything about who Antonius was as a person, what kind of thing. And then it also helped that Yun had Antonius within the Chronicles and Relics campaigns. Yeah. So I could say I reached out to Yun and I was like, what kind of person is Antonius? This is my idea. Would it work with what you've put together already for the character? And he's like, actually, yeah, no, that would make a lot of sense if you did it like this. And I was like, okay, cool. So this is going to happen. Now I have to figure out why Galahad doesn't fucking know this.
Yeah.
Because at that point, we were still trying to figure out, like, you were sort of a wild card. Everyone else, I had a reason for whatever their backstory was. Yours was just sort of up in the air, just like the actual origins. Because I think you started with like the age of 13 or something like that.
Yeah. My whole thing was like my whole thing for the backstory was more along the lines of like I grew up, I got tired of it, I was being groomed, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna leave and kind of do this whole thing, not leave or whatever because I was kicked out, but more so just leave and kind of find myself. I was like, all right, cool, Paladin. And I was like, I'm gonna throw my name in here because I'm on the train. I can't think of any other fucking names.
Right?
Like that's essentially what it was.
So it was so that whole thing, that whole twist was just like, I thought of it one day. I was like, what would be an interesting twist for Galahad? Because really in my head I was like, everybody in this party has some sort of trauma. There's got to be some sort of baggage from Galahad's life that pertains to his quest that he's going towards. So how can I tie his backstory into what he's going forward with outside of just like the standard, I need to go find myself, I was exactly what you said. I was being groomed. I didn't know how I was going to tie it in until we had that episode, the session with Chronicles, where we went to the Gothicanathi tribe and we met a young Galahad. And I was like, oh, okay, I know what it is. And Turt sort of planted the seeds and I just ran with it, really.
Yeah. No, so that's mine.
Like I said, collateral trauma. So I mean, this has been a great episode, guys. Talking some D&D shop, some Vox Machina. Tommy, we will give you
the plug.
There you go. Plug away.
Listen to the Medusa's Cascade podcast. It's on like iTunes, Spotify, Anchor. You can go to ambient.com/Medusa's Cascade. If you're on the TikTok, you can follow me on that. I'm at the bearded DM, all one word, no punctuation in there, all lowercase. I talk about D&D stuff, and that's really my.
We are on Medusa's Cascade, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. No.
Yes, we are. The Medusa's Cascade.
There it is.
That's been another Tuesday night, guys. Tuesday fun day.
Man.
Tuesday.
This was nice. This was nice.
Yes, it was.
Next week will be Peacemaker and Attack on Titan. We will talk about the funness.
Oh my god.
I don't want to spoil it. Tommy, did you see it? No.
See what?
Attack on Titan?
No, I haven't. No. Nope.
I don't want to spoil because great little nice scene that they did there. But again, it's been pretty awesome. And then Attack on Titan, yes, some fuck shit going on with that. So we get to talk about another fantasy world.
Gotta watch that. Gotta catch up.
Yeah, I got one more episode to watch because I think they're supposed to drop one this week. But this has been your boy Sebastian.
It's been your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
Should I hit that beautiful theme music?
Let's do it. Peace.